The scent hit her the moment he walked through the door. It wasn't his usual sandalwood and spice, the comforting aroma she'd come to associate with home, with him. This was different, floral, delicate, almost powdery, feminine, and it wasn't hers. Sarah froze, her hand halfway to taking the grocery bags from Mark. He smiled, leaning in for a kiss, but she turned her head slightly, offering her cheek. "Rough day?" she managed, her voice thinner than she intended. "You know how it is, endless meetings," he said, already heading towards the kitchen, seemingly oblivious. But Sarah's mind was racing. Where had that scent come from? A new air freshener at the office? A colleague he'd hugged goodbye? Her stomach twisted. No, this was more intimate. It clung to his jacket, a ghost of a presence that wasn't hers. Dinner was a strained affair. Sarah picked at her food, replaying the moment in her mind. Mark chatted about his day, but his words were a dull hum against the alarm bells ringing in her head. She'd known him for 10 years, married for 5. She knew his habits, his tells, and tonight his eyes didn't quite meet hers for long, his laughter a little too loud, a little too forced. Later, as he showered, she found herself drawn to his discarded suit jacket slung over the armchair. Hesitantly, she picked it up, burying her nose in the collar. There it was again, stronger this time, mixed with his own familiar scent. It was like a poisonous flower, beautiful and deadly. A cold dread began to coil in her stomach. For weeks, Sarah lived in a fog of suspicion. She'd find herself searching for clues, a detective in her own life. A late night at the office would send her thoughts spiraling. A hushed phone call he'd taken the other room, his voice, a low murmur she couldn't decipher, felt like a fresh wound. He became more attentive in some ways, bringing her flowers, suggesting date nights, but it all felt wrong, like he was overcompensating. The perfume, though, that was the one thing she couldn't shake. She never smelled it on him so strongly again, but sometimes she'd catch a faint whisper of it, or thought she did, making her question her own sanity. The breaking point came on a Saturday. Mark was out running errands. Restless, Sarah tidied up, a nervous energy propelling her. In their shared study, his laptop lay open, something he usually didn't. He was usually meticulous about closing it, protecting his work. A chat window was still active on the screen. Her breath hitched. She knew she shouldn't, but an invisible force pulled her closer. The name on the chat was Anna, and the messages, they weren't explicitly romantic, no I love yous or grand declarations, but they were filled with an easy intimacy, inside jokes she didn't understand, heart emojis, and plans for coffee next week, just us. One message from Anna read, "Loved your new aftershave today," and followed by a winking emoji. And Mark had replied, "It's actually your perfume sample you gave me. Seems to be a hit." Sarah felt the blood drain from her face. It wasn't an aftershave, it was perfume, Anna's perfume, the floral, delicate, powdery scent that had haunted her for weeks. The room spun. It wasn't just an imagined slight, a paranoid delusion, it was real. When Mark returned, whistling as he put his keys on the table, Sarah was sitting on the sofa, eerily calm. The storm inside her had passed, leaving behind a chilling quiet. "Mark," she said, her voice flat, devoid of emotion, "we need to talk." He saw her face, the open laptop on the coffee table, and the forced cheerfulness vanished from his eyes. He knew. The ensuing conversation was a blur of denials, then reluctant admissions, then tears. His, not hers. She had no tears left. He spoke of loneliness, of feeling unseen, and how it just happened. Pathetic, predictable words. Sarah listened, and with every word he spoke, another piece of their life together crumbled. The scent of that perfume, the ghost of Anna, had finally solidified into a concrete wall between them. Days later, as Sarah packed her belongings into boxes, the apartment felt alien. The sandalwood and spice of Mark's presence was still there, but now it was tainted, interwoven with the phantom scent of betrayal. She picked up one of her own sweaters, burying her face in it. It smelled of her, of clean laundry, of the life she thought she had. As she closed the door to their apartment for the last time, she took a deep breath of the outside air. It was crisp, anonymous, and thankfully, held no discernible perfume. It wasn't a scent of comfort, not yet, but it was the scent of a new, uncertain beginning. And for now, that was enough.